social media. That's it,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Fine.
this is what we're gonna do. Yeah. So Vaishak, now time is yours, so you can start with your bots once it is done, and I'll take care of IS.
Sure, sure. So thank you for the introduction. And
Yeah.
before we start, Senapati, could you just tell me if you have any exposure, experience working with SQL?
SQL. See, I did my BTech IT. Okay.
Okay,
I know. I didn't work in SQL, but I learned SQL. Okay,
okay,
engineering. But I after that I moved to, like, I got a job into technical support. So I never get a chance to work in like SQL and other development tools. So I completely into technical support and network monitoring kind of thing, service desk. So till
okay.
now I'm working. As of now, I'm working in network operation. It's
Network
kind
of
of monitoring tools.
NOC,
Yeah.
I understand. Okay,
Okay.
okay. So, Senapati, good that you already know SQL.
Yeah.
Uh, but we'll still try to brief you again, because the entire concept, be it, bots migration, there is a concept called data warehousing as well, right?
Okay.
Everything revolves around SQL. That means moving, all these data is actually stored in a database, right? And
Right.
or files, right? So in most of the cases, databases, right? So, and
Right.
you will be moving data from one place to other, right?
Okay.
So even if you're going to use data services, which is also called bots, you would need a fair understanding of SQL to understand what exactly is happening in the background. Like you don't need to type an SQL in bots, but again, there will be
Okay.
cases in a real life environment, right, wherein you have done all the migration, but then you have to make sure that taking the same example as Kumar, that did you shifted from one house to a new house, but you want to make sure all your furniture, if your TV is working fine, right? Has it been
Hmm.
damaged? So in the process of putting from one place to other, has it been
Yeah.
connected correctly? Is the screen broken? Like you have to make sure that everything is working fine even after moving to a new house, right?
Right. Right.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So SQL will be the baseline for all the activities that we'll be using in pod. So we'll give you a fair idea how exactly you're doing. So assuming when you said that you have learned SQL in the past, so I'm assuming that you know what exactly is a select statement and what exactly is the insert or update. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I understood. Yeah,
You
yeah. I
understand?
know. I
Okay.
know a few things, but once you like
Understood.
started explaining, I can come up, I think. So
Sure, sure. Okay. Anyways, we're going to give you a good brief, and also the test system that we are going to assign you, there will be an SQL environment. So you can very
okay.
well practice there. So there is nothing to worry
Okay.
about it. Uh,
Okay.
but again, it's when it comes to bots, it's practice, practice, and practice. Because when you are attending an interview, right, what they would
Yeah.
ask, where is this option? Okay, when you go to this option, what all things do you see on your screen, and what will you select to do this, right? Questions like that would
Okay.
come up when you're saying you have 3-4 years experience in bots, right? So
Okay.
we will cover them in brief. So the session is only 1 hour, but again, I would recommend you to take your time. Don't use the data that we are using. Create a new data altogether. There's a lot of data in the test system that we are going to give you. Okay, so
Okay.
use a
Okay.
different data set than the one that we are using, and then practice on it. Okay, rather than replicating the same process, take a new
Okay.
data and do the process. Right.
Sure. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to make sure that my screen is visible to you, right?
Yeah. I can see. I can see.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so why exactly are we learning all this? Like as Kumar explained, right? So everything that we are doing is for a purpose called ETL, that is moving data from one place to
Okay.
other. Okay, so this
Okay.
could be for various purpose, right? Maybe I'm
Okay.
upgrading my system, right? Maybe I'm,
Yeah.
moving from a slower system or a older system to a newer version of the system. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
implementing a new system altogether. Um, for example, you were previously living in an independent floor house. Now you're moving to an apartment building where there are 10 houses, right?
Okay.
So, and also there is a concept called data warehousing. I will come to the next slide where you'll get to know what exactly it is.
Okay.
So in a nutshell, imagine that you're a company and you are making some toys. Okay, you are a toy manufacturing company,
Okay.
and in order to manufacture and sell toys, right, it's not very straightforward, right? You'll have to buy some
Right.
raw material as well, right? There will be an
Yeah.
assembly process. There will be a marketing process, right? Somebody will have to buy from you, you'll have to advertise, right? And then
Right. Right.
you're going to ship it to your sellers, right? Maybe you're not selling it directly, you have to ship it to your sellers. You have to take money from your seller for the goods that they have bought from you, and you'll have to pay the money to the suppliers from you have got the raw materials as well, right? And
Okay. Okay.
also you have to keep a track of all these things, how much I've purchased, how much I've sold, how much is in the process, right? What is
Yeah.
my top selling toy, right? Okay, I know
Yeah.
that, okay, this remote control car is selling too fast, so I have to manufacture them faster. I have to buy more raw material for this particular toy, right? And maybe I
Okay.
need more
Okay.
batteries, maybe I need more remote controls, right?
Right. Right.
All these things, when you have implemented a system, right, to understand all these things, like, we call it a transactional system, right? Or
Transaction.
like we
Okay.
usually refer them as ERP, right? ERP, what SAP is famous for, they have designed an ERP system which can track all these, the entire process. So be it a manufacturing domain, be it a healthcare domain, be it an oil and gas domain, right?
Okay.
So they have an ERP system in place that they have designed, decades back, and they're, upgrading them, adding new feature, removing features, enhancing them, right? And eventually a point has come that the organizations has grown so big that the older system of the SAP ERP that they were using is no longer efficient to manage the volume of data that they have, right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
then came a concept called S4 HANA. It's a fast database. You might have used Oracle database in the past or Microsoft SQL database in the past when you have learned. So
Yeah.
HANA is a similar database. Okay.
Okay.
It's again developed by SAP. There is some memory allocation related differences the way it works from a traditional database, and we call it an in-memory database because
Okay.
this store everything, the data is being stored in the memory. By memory, what I mean is you can take RAM. Okay, imagine that
Okay. Okay.
you are storing everything in your RAM rather than storing in your
Okay.
hard disk, right? So that is
Okay.
the
Okay.
high level concept. It's not exactly how it works, but that's high level concept.
Okay.
So, so what happens is when you move from an older system to a newer system, you need some tools to do that, right? You can, because there's so much data, so many tables. For, let's say, for manufacturing, there is a table. I'm going to store all the supplier information in one table, all the prices in one table, and all the whomever I have to pay some money, I'm storing in one table. I'm storing all the
Okay.
phone numbers, email IDs in the separate tables, right? That's how a transactional
Right.
system works, right? But then we
Right.
have to move, when we have to move it to a new system, that's like thousands and thousands of tables that you have to migrate. You cannot copy paste, right? Because so much data. So
Yeah. Yeah. Got
that's
it.
where a tool comes called SAP Data Services, or we refer them as bots. Like uh, the
Okay.
older versions, like that was before 4.1. There are versions. Okay, we are at 4.2 right now. Whatever was
Okay.
before 4.1, we call it bots, business object data services, and whatever 4.1 and 4.2, it is called data services. Okay, it's just DS.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay. Okay.
why exactly are we learning all these process just to achieve the process that you see on the screen? In a nutshell, what exactly are we doing? We are taking out data from one system and putting in another system. So this could be what you see as a source system on your left. This could be files also. It's not necessarily a database table, but this could be a file
Okay.
also. This could be an Excel sheet also, maybe a CSV, maybe some
Okay.
XML, right?
Okay. Okay.
And this, what I see as the target, same applies to that. Maybe I'm doing all this thing and putting everything in, taking output in the in a form of a file, maybe for some purpose. So that is also possible. It may not be target, may not be a table all the time, right? So where
Okay.
exactly our bot system stands? So the bot system stands between the extract and load process. So extract, transform, and load. That means we are taking
Okay.
extract means taking out
It
the data, right? Transforming means maybe in the source system, in the old system that I'm
from
using.
yeah,
To give you an
yeah, okay.
example,
From one
maybe
place
my
to other place, like
exactly. Exactly. So imagine that in the source system where I had all the, my date was in ddmmyy, dd.mm.yy. But in the
okay.
target
Mm-hmm.
system, I don't, it doesn't allow me to put in ddmmyy. It has to be in mmddyy. So it's a new
Okay.
system, a new format. So we have to change the way the data looks like, right? We have to convert the data, right? So this
Okay.
process
Okay.
is called
Mm-hmm.
data conversion, or you can call it transform. So bots has a list of list of transformations. We call it transformations. So it is just functions. You have some interface where you can do all these things and manipulate the
Okay.
data or convert the
Okay.
data before you put it into the target, right? So this is the
Okay.
reason
Okay.
that we are doing this entire learning this entire process, right? In between, we have to also make sure that the data is in the required, like while I'm extracting the data, I have to make sure that I'm not putting any null values, right? I have to make sure that the
Okay.
quality also meets. So that is where the
Okay.
tools like information steward comes into place to ensure what kind they do a profiling of the data. What do we mean by profiling? That they just give you an insight that what exactly is there in this data. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Okay.
How
Got
many
Yeah.
columns are null? Okay, it can show you a scorecard. So that is where the importance of tools like information steward comes into place, right? The
Okay.
same applies to the load process as well. Before loading, I have to make sure all the converted data. Imagine that I needed in the target system as ddmmyy, and I did some mistake in the transform part, and it was become yymmdd, right? Will the
Okay.
target system accept it? The target system will not accept it. Maybe it won't accept it. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will populate nulls, right? I have to make
Okay.
sure that the data that I'm putting in my, new system, like you have to make sure that the TV that you're putting in your, migrated to the new house, it is working fine as well, right? Similarly, I have to make sure
Okay.
that the quality is met when I've loaded data. So before loading, what we do, we just do a data quality test as well, right?
Okay.
If
Okay.
after loading also we have, at times it will allow you to load, but then if the data is not in the required form, right? So after loading
Right.
also we call it post-load activities or post-load validation, where we use tools like information steward or some kind of reporting tool to understand, if the data is in the required format or not. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And data warehouse, I have already given a fair understanding of what exactly would this do. Um, So this is an example of, uh, I think I've taken an example of one pharma company,
Manufacturing company.
manufacturing
Okay. Yeah.
company, manufacturing company. Okay, right. So wherein there are different departments like sales, marketing, human resources, supply chain,
Yeah.
and all these things into place, and we need to do an analysis. Okay, what exactly is happening in the sales part? Okay, one
Okay.
quick second. This call may be disconnected. Okay, so we are at the Zoom. There is a restriction of 40 minutes. So if the call get disconnected, please do rejoin. Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Click on the same link. I'll work. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So this is, imagine this is a company same, a toy manufacturing company. So all these departments are in place, right? And just one quick second. Okay, so
Yeah.
all these departments are in place, and I want to understand how much am I paying to my employees, right? I know the table exists. There is an employee table, there is employee number, employee name, and also there is an employee salary table, right? But those are all
Right.
different transactional tables. Transactional tables, in the simplest of the sense, It is a table being used by the end users. Means that, when a new employee comes, the HR will go and create a entry in the database or in the system, and it makes an entry in the database saying that a new employee has joined on this date. This is the employee name. This is the employee ID. This is the employee's date of birth, and so on, right?
Okay.
But all these are in different tables and different. So if I want to understand how much is the average salary that I'm paying to my IT department, would I be able to take it directly? No, we just have a we just have a normalized data, because everything is in different tables, and uh, there has been no calculation done whatsoever, right? So we are going to implement a data warehouse, right? Because we are a very big organization, and I want to understand on a daily basis how much am I spending to buy raw materials, right? And where can I
Okay.
save,
Yeah.
right? So I'm going to move all this data into a system, which is we call it analytical system, right? Right?
Okay.
Wherein I will not disturb whatever is happening in my transactional system. That means I'll not disturb my users, right? Let them do whatever. Then if I'm gonna, take too much data in it, take out data from it and make frequent queries, So uh okay, so what we are gonna do, we are gonna move it to a new system, right? To make
Okay.
sure that we do not disturb the ongoing activities in the transactional system. At the same time, we achieve what we need. That means we do all the analysis, and let's say maybe we are going to run out of stock very soon. Maybe it's being sold very fast, right? I have to make sure that I meet the demand as well, right? So I'm going to put it in a new system where I do all my analysis in one place, right? And then I'm going to take the decisions on basis of the data that I have in my analytical system. So we use two
Okay.
terms interchangeably to to explain these things. So one is online transactional processing and online analytical processing. Okay, so
Okay.
transactional, as you already know, where all the user, all the business
End
activities,
users.
right? And
Okay.
analytical is
Okay.
where we are doing all our analysis, our data warehousing, all reporting activities. Maybe I have a information stored or some kind of reporting tool, Power BI, Tableau in place to understand, what exactly is happening where, right?
Okay. Okay.
So this is a nutshell of data warehouse in simple terms, right? But imagine a scenario wherein my HR is using maybe SAP to manage all the employees. But at the same time, my manufacturing team and the supply chain, they are using a different ERP to manage things. Like maybe they are using JD Edwards. It's a similar vendor like SAP. They also have their ERP product. So imagine that they are on a different system, and I,
Okay.
as an employee, is on a different system. Maybe
Mhm.
my seller is on, my store is using a different system altogether, right? So when we are interacting with multiple systems, obviously the data, how it, the date, how it looks in the JD Edwards system, how it show, it's just dates are stored as a 5-digit, 6-digit numbers. But SAP stores are,
Mhm.
there is a yyyy.mm.dd format. Or maybe there's a third system in place. Maybe there's an Excel sheet in place where the data format is different, right?
Right. Okay.
So
Mhm.
when I'm doing the analysis, right, when I'm moving the data to the data warehouse or analytical system, so I will not be needing to, how will I compare dates? Let's say I have to check this employee when this employee joined, okay, which is in my SAP system, and in my JD Edwards system, I want to understand how much did he sell in the last month, right? So
Okay.
imagine we have two different dates right now, right? How will
Yeah.
you do the
Mhm.
comparison? You have to bring it into one particular format to do the comparison and explain my user, okay, this is when he has joined, and in this much time, this is the sale that he has done, right? So I have to do
Right.
such
Right. Okay.
comparison. So I have to make sure that both the dates are in similar format to make the comparison at the first place, and also to explain to the end users what exactly is happening, how exactly it is happening, right? So that is where data warehouse and tools like SAP data services and information steward comes into place to help us achieve this process as less error with as less errors as possible, right?
Okay.
So, so in the data warehouse system where I'm going to do all this analysis, I'm going to keep historical data as well, right? Because I want to understand what has happened in the past. Maybe in the month of December, I have a lot of sale because there are holidays. And maybe in the month of January, I have less sale because the offices are open again, right? So
Okay.
so I may require to buy more raw material in the month of November and December and less in the for January, right? So these kind of decisions I'm going to take by looking at the data that I have, right?
Okay.
So in the nutshell, this is the requirement of data warehouse. What is the requirement to use ETL? Because we have to move data from one place to another, be it for the purpose of reporting, like for data warehousing, or be it to migration to an upgraded system or a new or a better performing system. So that is where we need a data ETL system in place, right?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so this is the things that we have already discussed, right? What is transactional system? What are, again, same example, I've taken a manufacturing company's example. I'm going to share this PPT with you, right?
Sure.
Uh,
Sure. Yeah.
so this has just 5 slides. So as in when we are progressing, I'm going to add more slides and I'm going to put it in the Google Drive. Okay, you can download
Yeah.
it, you can
Okay.
watch it there directly also. I'm going to update it on a daily
Okay.
basis as in when we are going to cover the topics. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so this is actually a data warehouse architecture. I don't want you to go in depth right now, but I want you to understand
Hmm.
where exactly is your role. What are you expected to do? Okay, you are expected to do ETL, that is movement of data, maybe for a data warehouse or a data migration. Your role
Oh,
is here. Do you see this ETL, this arrows,
yeah. Yeah. I can see.
right?
Yeah. Right. Hmm.
And your role is here as well, and also here as well, right?
Okay. Okay.
The data warehouse design diagram, so I don't want you to go in depth. But again, you have to understand your primary role is to move data from the operational system, which is also called a transactional system, to an integration
Okay.
layer, maybe where I'm putting the data, uh, so again, taking the previous example, wherein I have different system to manage different process. HR is, employees are being managed in SAP, and the manufacturing operations are managed in the JD Edwards, right? So I have
Okay.
to do the comparison and all the cleaning. I am going to park the data somewhere, right? I have to do some changes. I have to make sure that the dates are in one place. Everything is in the required format to move the data forward to the data warehouse, right? This is a
Yeah.
middle layer, which we also call the staging area, right? So you
Okay.
are required to
Okay.
load, not directly to the target, but maybe at an intermediate location where you're going to do all the changes, all the data quality checks, information stored maybe in place in this particular bit to check the data quality, and then move again, use the ETL jobs, right? I will come what exactly is
Okay.
job, but
Hmm.
again, going to use an ETL to load it to the data warehouse. Okay,
Okay.
and
Okay.
at times
Yeah.
there are concepts called data mart, right? Data mart is in a brief. What Imagine that there is a sales department, and uh, there is an HR department. Okay, so
Okay.
I just have one data warehouse where I'm putting all my data. But again, I
Hmm.
specifically want my sales users or my sales manager to access only the sales related, data warehouse. Objects in the
Okay.
data warehouse means what sales
Oh,
orders, discounts. I just want to give them access only to that particular part of my data warehouse. So I'm going to create a sub warehouse, which is also called data mart, right? Wherein I'm going
okay.
to
Okay.
split the data even further, wherein they can access whatever is required for that particular role, right? And
Okay.
similarly, I'm going to set up a data mart for my HR manager as well, where he or she can access what exactly is required for that particular role, right? Imagine this
Okay.
is just a sub warehouse wherein we have split the data depending upon their maybe roles or whatever kind of requirements. Just uh, a small example. Maybe there could be more complex examples as well, right? Okay,
Yeah.
don't go in deep into this diagram. We are going to cover the things that they are here, but just understand where exactly is your role, right? Okay, This is the overview of what we are going to do. And secondly, I'm going to send you this access. So just look at your Zoom chat window.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to send it to Ganapati. Okay.
Ganapati, yeah.
Yeah, I've sent it to you.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it. Okay. So this is an IP address, right? There is a username and password, right? Right now
Okay.
we are using a shared address. I'm my the person who is managing this particular system has not yet set up your access. But again, you
Okay.
can use this access. It will work as good as for you. Okay. Secondly,
Okay.
how am I going to access? Are you aware how to work on remote desktop connections?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Got
just
it.
yeah, here I've just put it. Like I've already
Hmm.
saved the username and password, so it won't ask me for the
Oh,
username password. I'll just click on connect.
okay.
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 Here in the system, we have SAP Data Services Designer. This is the icon.
Okay.
Also, we have information steward in this particular system as well. It's already installed. Where exactly it is? I think it is in the start
The
menu.
top second
Yeah,
column
here,
first line.
here it is. Yeah, right.
Okay.
So Prashant will take you through this one in detail, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll go here and we'll go to Data Services Designer. This is our bot system. How do you log into the system? There is another file here which is bots details, right?
Okay.
Right. So we'll cover in detail what all things this is. Okay. So what is a host? What is username and password? You know what exactly they are. And so I'm going to come to this particular code. Before that, I want you to know, I want you to practice a little bit of SQL. Okay, so how it will help when we are doing a extraction or transformation or load, it will help you understand what exactly is happening in the background, right? Because it is not in a real life environment, you will not, as even as a bots developer, you will not be just working on bots, you will be working on so many other things. Maybe there is a system in place to track all the things that you're doing, right? Maybe there is a database in place that maybe you may be required to work on Excel, service now, right? All these
Okay.
things will be in place. So this is the logon screen. So okay, let me just start again. I'll go to start menu. It says SQL Server Management Studio. Click, right, and you
Yeah.
get the screen. Okay. Okay, here almost all the things will be pre-filled. If it is not,
Oh,
if it is blank by any chance, you can use here. Okay, this is available here,
okay.
the
Yeah.
same notepad, right? So
Okay.
it is sample one is our server name, username, and password. This is already pre-filled. If it is required, you can use from here. So I'll click
Okay.
on
Sure.
connect, right? And then I'll expand my databases. Though you can use any database, all of them have some kind of legitimate data for practice, but I recommend you use Adventure Work 2012 for all your practice purpose. Why? There is a
Okay.
very good example that they have set up in this. Let me come down. Okay, you say this data, human resources department, employee.
Yeah.
Let me just give you an example. Right, so we have very elaborate data here, right? So this, like,
Okay.
for the purpose of practice, see, there are so many tables and so many business scenarios you can just imagine and implement in bots, right. So I recommend you to use this particular database, which is called Adventure Work 2012, right, and come all the way down. Don't use the DBO table, rather use the table human resources department, person, all these tables has good amount of data for the purpose of practice, right?
Okay.
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 Okay, going back to bot. Okay, so I'm going to log on, and okay, so just going to copy paste it here, the username password. And one important thing that I want to show you, though the much more it takes to reach this particular screen, right? Those are some admin activities also required, but everything in this particular system, everything is already set up, right? This is how you will, like 99% of the times, this is how you'll get a system when you're in a company, right? There will be a different set of users who will be managing the admin activities, right? But at the information steward end, there are a little more activities required, maybe from an developer standpoint also. Kumar is gonna take you through that. But here is my repository. What is a repository? Imagine this is a folder, okay, just a folder that is assigned to my name, okay, wherein I'm going to put all my work, all the processes that I built to move data from one place to other. I'm going to put it here. Okay, this is what we call a repository. Like, there are other things that we can do, but in a high level, this is what a repository is, a folder. Imagine for now. I'm going to select the folder that they have assigned to me, which is new bot 6. I'm going to click on this one, click on OK. Okay, so this is my start screen, right? And okay, so before we touch even bots, one concept you're gonna hear very frequently, this word called jobs. Okay,
jobs.
So, yeah, what exactly is a job? So job is a set of instruction that I'm using the data services or bots. I'm going to build a set of instructions, and I'll be telling the system what to do with the data, like how to extract the data, right? How to take the data out, what to do with the data, change, okay, like simplest example, changing the date format, how to change the data, and how, where to load the data, right? So from where to get the data, what to do with the data, and where to put the data. This is what I'm telling by using a jobs. Right. So we are actually automating this flow of taking out the data, changing it, and putting it back in the new target. Right. So you got to hear this term very frequently. It's called jobs.
Jobs.
Right. And also there is a concept called project. Right. So let me expand it a little bit more. Okay. Okay. So local object library, what exactly is a local object library? It's my local folder, means whatever is inside my personal folder, my repository, my folder, right? Whatever project that I have created, whatever jobs I have created inside. So there is a concept of central object library as well. Imagine there are 4 users, 4 developers in this company, and they 4 are working on, interchangeably working on data migrating, and at the same time, imagine I've created a job, it is in my personal folder. Will the second developer, will Chanapati will be able to access? No, he'll not have access, right? I have to put it at a central location to be able to be allow Chanapati to use the job and right?
Understood. Yeah.
Right. So this is what right now what I have is a local object library, right? Which is my local folder. There'll be a central folder as well. So we'll come to that. These are like as in when we move forward, we'll come to that particular point as well.
Okay.
So what is a project? Okay. The third time is the project. So project is a main folder, right? Okay, so if I tell you the hierarchy, I have a repository, which is my master folder, where I'm going to store all my project jobs, connection details, everything. The project is the next level, a level just below. To give you an example. Okay, so this is my level 1, which is repository, right? This is my top level. Just below it, I have project, which is my, a level below my repository. Right, where I will, and what will be there in my project, I will have my jobs. Jobs means, I'll just come to, okay. So I have the main folder where I've logged in. And
Okay.
inside them,
Okay.
I've created multiple projects. So imagine that I'm migrating data for all HR objects. Okay, HR means employee IDs, employee email IDs, employee phone numbers. All of them were in different tables, and I have to migrate all of them to new. So what I'll do, I'll create a new project. I'm going to call it project underscore human resources, right? Wherein I'll create multiple jobs, okay, to migrate multiple objects, right? So let's go back to bots and give you how exactly. So imagine this is my project that I've created,
Hmm.
right? And imagine this is a project that I've created to migrate HR objects. Okay, so I'm just going to double click, right? The first one is, let's say, employee joining date. Second one is employee phone number, maybe this is email address. So I have separate process flows designed to migrate separate objects, right? And I've put in
Okay.
under a folder name called, project to migrate human resources, right? So maybe
Okay.
I'll have to
Okay.
migrate sales at a later point, maybe marketing at a later point. I'm going to create separate folder. That means separate projects to manage all these migrations, right?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so okay, and so SQL is, as I said, is the background. So I want to spend some time. I know you
Sure.
already know a lot of SQL. Maybe you know already, the college time you have learned it. But I want you to brush up those concepts. So I'm going to give you a link, which I usually give to students, which is W3 Schools. Okay, I don't know if you have used it before, right?
Yeah, I have used it.
You have
Yes.
used it before, right? Just take the
Yes.
SQL thing, SQL that, as well
Sure.
as the
Sure.
SQL
Okay.
tutorial, right? Just don't
Yeah.
go in depth, right? So just an overview of what exactly is happening, how is select written, how is insert, how to create a table, and also you can create table for yourself. Let's say if you want to practice in this one, you can create a new table and you want to try inserting data, you can do that. Okay, there's no such restriction, right?
Sure. Sure.
But try not to edit all these tables, okay? Because this is some genuine data which we'll be using for uh, our
Sure.
practice, and right. So just try not to, right? You can, otherwise you can create any table of your choice here, right? In this particular database, Adventure Work 2012.
Okay.
Okay, so this was the overview. And also, let me just minimize this. I'm going to share a list of topics that I'm going to cover in this particular session, right? This is a list,
Okay. Yeah.
right, that
Okay.
I'm going to share with you. So you can go through them. This is like, over, just the headers. I would say like there are like, these are like very, some of them are really advanced topic, like transforms, right? I've just written transforms. So there are, 20, 30 different transforms which are there, right? So we're going to cover,
Okay.
we'll try to cover all of them, right? But
Sure.
in the
Sure.
meanwhile, I want you to practice as well, right? So
Sure, bro.
just
Okay. Yeah.
going to the training would not help. You should, this is though it looks very basic, it has a lot of functionality, right? So when you're giving
Right.
an
Right.
interview,
Okay.
so when you're saying that I have 3, 4 years experience, so they are gonna
Mm.
ask questions like, okay, have you used this particular option? You're going to say, yes, I know what exactly it is. But okay, how to achieve this? Okay, on this particular screen, what are options would come up, right? Okay, how to achieve
Okay.
this particular output? They're going to give you a sample data and say, okay, tell me what will you do in a job to achieve this output from this input, right? So questions
Okay.
like that
Okay.
would come up, right? So it's very important that
Yeah.
you understand where to go, what all options would come up there. Okay, what options should I select to achieve this, right? So that's very important. So how will
Right.
you know that? You need to put some uh, quite a few amount of energy and practice to achieve, right? To answer those
Yeah.
questions, right? Okay,
Sure. Yeah.
okay. So, and also please do share the resume with us. The resume. If you have a resume already, please do share with us, or just give us. We'll try to,
So, bro, I think I have to prepare, bro. Like, I have to prepare my current profile.
Okay.
Uh, so, so give me some time. I'll prepare and I'll send it to you.
Okay, yeah, you can take your time, or you can just give
Hmm?
us, just the We're going to prepare a resume anyway, right? So we'll
Okay.
give you a couple of templates as well. So you can just
Sure, sure.
see what all things you want to add or you want to remove. But again, your educational qualifications and the company names we should know, right, to put there. So we
Yeah,
can just give you
correct, correct.
points in the experience points, right? So please do
Sure.
share it with us, all those details.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, whenever possible,
yeah.
like we have a lot of sessions left out, but then as in when we are covering things, we'll try to, enhance the resume. We'll create a basic one and then we'll start putting things as in when we are covering, right?
Okay, okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so I have given you access to the system and also to the database. But at any point you're stuck on SQL, please feel free to, you can just note down the question, and in the next session we are going to cover. Okay, if like there are
sure.
some concepts, maybe you'll not get in the first go, right? So we will spend some
Yeah,
time, like maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the next day session, and we'll cover whatever you're facing. Because SQL is very
okay.
important, be it you're trying to learn data services, information steward, everything you are going to need some amount of SQL to work with, right?
Okay.
So,
Yes. Yeah.
this was the overview. This was the. I'm going to share this PPT with you. This is absolute basic, right? You
Yeah.
don't need it, but I'll send it with. I'll just put it in the Google Drive and we'll give you a link, and I'll
Sure,
keep
bro.
adding
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
there, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. So I think Prashant. Kuba, are you still there?
Yes, I'm with you,
Okay,
guys.
okay.
It was really very nice explanation, Vaishak. So you started with your basics, from why this has come up and why we're using this, and some time on server. So that Sanapati will be habituated with the server and all this stuff. And I hope, Sanapati, uh, you got some information about at least what we're gonna do in BODS, right?
Yeah.
Why this
Yeah.
tool and why we are going to use this. So basically, always the first class, whatever the technology you take, it may be any of the training you take, you have to get the clear understanding on why we are doing this, right? Why
Okay.
I'm going to take training on BODS, why I'm going to take training on IS, in what way it will help me. Okay, and is that
Yeah.
interrelated to me with my previous technologies or previous experience, so that you can, if you're having any previous experience with that, somewhere it is related, it will help you a lot. If it is not helping
Yeah.
a lot, in the sense you need to focus more, because everything
Sure,
is new.
sure.
If something is old, at least you can
Yeah.
interrelate. So which means you're completely new. And these two are very, very, very important technologies in SAP platform.
Okay.
If you get
Okay.
if you take any of the SAP tool, everything is demanding. SAP itself is a demand,
Yeah.
because they used to come up with new technologies when the market is going with the new ways of reaching out to the customer. Because today
Okay.
what we're going to use is not be used in the tomorrow. This is the smartphones and the old phones, Nokia phones, right?
Yeah.
So SAP is the one which catches the customer pulse day to day, and they will come up with the new technologies, the new upgrades, new versions. You'll have the version upgrade like anything, lot of version
Right.
upgrades.
Yeah.
So that's the reason SAP is very demand wherever you go. So SAP consultants are highly paid, right? So
Okay.
these
Okay.
two will help you a lot in you. So every session is very valuable, every minute is very valuable, because we are getting every penny for that, right? So even you are paying a very good amount, in which you need to make use of that every minute. That's the reason we now don't want to waste every minute whatever we are giving. And one more thing is, whatever we are explaining you is not coming from our own words. It is completely either from our experience or from the SAP blogs or SAP textbooks. We
Okay.
will not
Okay.
create any of the sentence which you see. Whatever the sentence we tell you will find
Mm-hmm.
somewhere either in blogs, SAP blogs, or somewhere with from our experience. That's it. Yeah. So
Okay.
Vaishak, can you just look out the recording is been, we got the recording for this one, because 40 minutes it's supposed to close, but I did not, uh, you know,
Yeah, Kumar, so what has happened? They have given me a free upgrade right now for this session. So recording is still
only for
on.
this session. Okay. So
Yeah,
we,
right now for this session.
okay. So we'll do one thing. We'll just close this just for or convenience to make the session as 2 hours, right? So one session with bots and one session with IS, it will be even segregated for him. For him, it will be good. So let us just disconnect and connect immediately. Vaishak, what do you say? You're talking on mute, by the way, Vaishak.
Oh, I'm
In
sorry.
case if you're speaking.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry about that. I'll just ping you a new meeting ID and we'll create a new.
I think we can continue with the
Use
same
the
one,
same.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that also. Yeah, you can disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah. Yes. And just once we disconnect, just open and see the recording whether it's gonna come, like it has come for all the 1 hour, right? Okay.
Sure, sure, sure. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Kumar. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you in a minute.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vaishak. Yeah.
Yeah.